what's going on, everybody? Mr. JK here, and today we're reacting to Kamen Rider Nago, the best lady writer by Lambo Calrissian. So I thought, you know what, time to give a lady writer a go and like show some love to the ladies. So we're gonna react to this video. This is 25 minutes and 20 seconds long. So without further ado, let's get into the video and just, you know, I'm just gonna not say that. Anyways, let's get into the video in three. Let's get into the video in 3, 2, 1. I saw in her fantasy form.
In today's video, I remind you that Nago is the best written female writer in the Reiwa era. At least that's what I think. These 3 exhibits will display the highs and lows of our girl's career.
The only ones I've seen so far, well, specifically the Reiwa writers, is her and what's her name from
And even though she doesn't get enough dubs in my opinion, I still feel her story shines through, and low-key, that's just a problem I feel third writers always have in store.
Yeah.
But enough about that, hit the like and subscribe and let's get
started. Yeah, in case anyone doesn't know, because sometimes I think this always gets mixed up. They think that Buff is the tertiary. No, it's Nago. She's the tertiary. But I get how that can be a little confusing. Same thing with like Kawa or Tycoon. Often gets mixed up with the tertiary too because of Buffa. But no, she's the tertiary.
Get started. This is Nago, aka Neon Karama. She's a streamer whose very rich family runs the Karama Finance.
Which is funny because her first name, literally, if you say it real fast, it's Nya, which is actually a pun on the sound effect that the cat sound effect from Japan, which Nya. Instead of just meow, it's Nya over there.
Finance group, because of which they are very strict, like very strict, and it all stems from her getting kidnapped on her birthday when she was younger. Hold on to that because we're going.
Yeah, put a pin on that one, ladies and gentlemen, because that's a story for the ages. Like that is sorry. It's interesting. Her backstory is so interesting. Like, bro, like it's really fucked.
I'll have to come back to that though. Because of which, her entering the DGP is more about her finding freedom, using the find my true love wish as part of says freedom. After all, being able to live how you want includes choosing who you want to love and stuff like that. The first moment we see this liberation is during one of the earliest games in the series, a 3-round zombie survival that sees her getting ambushed by that loser ass young nigga until she gets a free save from Geets. In the process of this, she turns out to be bitten and is slowly going through the Resident Evil process, or biohazard if you want to be a dick about it. When the final wave hits and rises towards its climax, Nago makes a dynamic entry and soon the game really begins. Rather than be a bitch like Dapan who just lets it happen and participates in being a zombie, she instead fights for not only her life, but her freedom. She's also running off the hope that since the world's always reset after every game, if she beats this before the infection takes over, then she'll be fine too. And as she starts clearing the board with headshots, she decides to grab that boost buckle and take it to the next level. Now for anyone who's new to Geets or not sure how to describe the boost buckle in simple terms, think of it kind of like the X Factor from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or like Sparking Blast from Fighters. It gives the user a big boost of power.
Hits the name.
Pun intended. Hey, she puts that shit on with a regular schmecular buckle, so the power boost, pun intended, is just enough for her to start putting in work. You don't believe me? Watch this shit.
That serious note, this really doesn't prove my point like the last clip. This is just hard as fuck. Yeah, it is.
She's really good.
Now boosted, Nago displays both a cat's grace and fury, as well as her ability to effectively cooperate, with the latter skill being the much more important to cultivate for the sake of the series. Eventually, the zombie debuff kicks in, but this only stumbles our girl, giving her time to pick the self-affirmation dialogue, which apparently was the right choice to get geeks to jump in with a level 2 assist. Now with everything in place, our girl switches gears, make a big ol' ass hammer, and with the last of her X Factor, drops the nastiest level 3 finish.
Oh no! She's got the DDD smash! She got the DDD forward smash ready!
But wait!
There's more!
There's more! Now, two things. Number one, I don't know about you, but this is the third Lady Rider intro fight that I've covered that's pretty much just a level from a Musou game. Jean still has my favorite as it's pretty much an aggressive ass speed run, but Nago's entire showing feels earnest. We don't need her to know any martial arts, we just need her to get back up and fight for her desire to live. And number two, I love this as her opening squabble with Japan because it opens up the dialogue of something I personally like to call winners and losers. And bear with me because I'm gonna have to put on my unk cap for this one and put y'all into some IRL game. From my personal experience, life gives you two types of pimps, winners and losers. If you're feeling attacked right now, just think of it as a cup half full versus a cup half empty. Anyway, winners usually feel that there is a point to whatever they're going through. Most good things in this world aren't free, so things that you truly want are things you're gonna have to work for. Despite having setbacks, hiccups, and even negative results, it doesn't deter them from getting back up and trying again.
Yeah, because thanks for opening this up because that's a good parallel, especially with the obvious person that she's paralleled with here, the person that's always doom and gloom and shit. And it's like, well, if I'm this way, I might as well just make everybody else this way. And it's like, bro, you already got a character here. And I'm so mad at myself I didn't notice that little parallel. That you got someone from a rich background who goes through shit effectively most of her life because of what happened, but she doesn't let that bring her down and thinks there's a purpose to it. And it's like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to try and do what I want. I don't care the path I'm on. It's tough. Yeah, sure, whatever.
The every L is a lesson type of mentality. Losers, on the other hand, think what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? If I take the L, what's the point?
As each and every inconvenience that happens acts as their excuse to be negative or be vindictive. As setbacks, hiccups, and even negative results transpire, they use this as fuel to give up and progressively spread that negativity towards others around them. You know, by saying all this, I'd be dumb not to say that there are real things that happen to people that are just so messed up that it's just impossible to ignore, like getting terrible medical news or like the loss of a loved one. But it's how we choose to react and recover from this that decides how we face the world from then on. Japan wanted the world to end because he couldn't play basketball no more. He didn't even think about making a world where he could just hoop forever. He just went straight to shitty doomer mode, and as a result, he became a person who wanted to spread as much negativity as he could because he was in a bad place. Our girl was able to make it because she has the courage of taking a chance and getting back up when she's knocked down. And real talk, I challenge you, yeah nigga, you watching this video right now to do the same. Your hard work and dedication to whatever you're applying yourself to will pay off, but you gotta get up when you get knocked down and learn why you got knocked down in the first place. But hey, this isn't the Path of Heaven, Lambo's Guide to Being a Better Person video, so we're just gonna move on to the second exhibit. Since the series has several seasons of the DGP throughout its 49 episode run, we use that time to see Nago growing more and more through the series of ups and downs. One particular roller coaster comes by way of the Yamato Grand Prix, but to get there, we gotta talk about the beat buckle.
Much later.
If you watched the show,
Which, in my opinion, that just comes out of nowhere a little bit because, I mean, you said the same thing for Buffa's, the zombie buckle, but as Ace explained it in the episode where he explains how the buckles work, especially once like he wants the buckle that we see him use in the first episode back because he understands that the buckles themselves and often choose the writer or the writer will have like an affinity for said buckle, and he understood that like okay, so that buckle right there, the Magnum buckle, is suited for me specifically, and then it's even proven when he tries to use the ninja buckle, and the ninja buckle just said "fuck you" and just went to Kayla because Kayla showed effectively had the makings of what that buckle was looking for, which is to endure endurance of a ninja, to endure.
Remember, the first DGP was won by Ace, and the second one is set up immediately afterwards, with some familiar faces and some new ones added in. The first game is Protect the Flag with Partners, and our girl shows up as an extra contestant and shows up conveniently when the last lady contestant is defeated. She shows up with a new buckle at the time, and she puts that shit on to join the game.
The greatness, the awesome sauce, the crest of ingenuity.
After dropping one of the hardest bars in the series, she starts the Courage melody and proceeds to get her show started. By playing a cold guitar solo that she uses to gain the funky blizzard buff, she then gets the slapping Yamato like she's got a hunting horn. After striking all 11 of them with that said buff, she's able to CC them into one spot, and doing either her best Eno from Guilty Gear impression or Luna Snow from Marvel Rivals, she's able to drop 3 meters of pack watching that ass.
Coolest fucking comeback ever in that fucking show.
This reintroduction and subsequent first appearance works in many ways for Nago's character arc and growth, but what I love the most about this is the flash of her courage/confidence. Very important trait to have in the DGP after all. Beat being a large type raised buckle that is compatible with Nago serves as a combination of both her streamer and writer identities. Her songs of Ice and Fire and other melodies project her recently found determination to fight, not only to live but for her dreams, and it truly helps her feel like she's in her element. See what I did there? And once again, this just puts her back into the game with a stronger desire to win and get her dream. This means that she will play a more important role in the story from then on. This also allows her to scale properly with the boys, as she can also swap hands with Yamato writers.
Though this isn't a Yamato writer, this Yamato is less than or equal to 1. So her beating it with just she's gotten better at fighting.
Now, quick tangent. In storytelling, it's important for characters to have a sense of urgency in accordance with the plot, as it's a great way to convey your character's minds, moods, and attitudes. And in this section of the story, Nago is quite proactive. With the experience of the first DGP under her belt, she started using her streaming resources to help her make moves more in the game. Her teamwork synergy becomes top-notch, and she displays the most important trait, in my opinion, the awareness of her skill level. Yes, this comes off mostly as Ace glazing, but let's put ourselves in her shoes for a second. Ace is the only person you know who has won the DGP several times, and because of the 2 you've been in, you have the additional information that this nigga possibly saved the world a bunch of times. And when it was your turn, your main hitter was a purple nigga who loses, then gets upset that he couldn't be like Ace. Can you really be mad at them for that? But as I said earlier, her awareness and her use of resources helps her progress, with the best example of this was using her dad's pool as a DGP sponsor, shocker I know, to get herself, Kawa, and Ace to advance to the 3rd DGP after jumping Girori and getting him fired. From there on, it's just a bunch of episodes of her changing and developing while holding the mantle of the tertiary writer, during which we see more of her deceitful side in order to win said DGP, while also meeting her sponsor, who drops some foreshadowing I want you to also hold on to.
These. So long as you get to be happy, do you even give a damn about everyone around you? Wishing misfortune on others will eventually come back to haunt you.
By the time Shiarmi gets the vision driver stolen, she realizes that her strength and or success doesn't come from just her, but from everyone who believes in her. This deters the whole being a lying ass bitch to get what I want act gets laid to the wayside. She then locks in, becoming more of her authentic self and a true Kamen Rider during the JGP, until karma comes back and bites her in the wildest way possible.
Much later.
We arrive at yet another round of the JGP, and this just so happens to be Nago's birthday. This round of the Grand Prix is one of those
She was born on April Fool's Day.
those one-on-one squabbles, but we know it's made by Beruba, so some flavor of bullshit is mixed in all of this. Due to said bullshit,
That actor did such a good job making me hate that fucking character.
Kawa loses the first round, and Nago is up to go second, while discovering Kyun's identity up until the fight. When the time comes, Ace actually takes Nago's place for the second round, and puts belt to ass to both Yamatos in the video we've already covered. Since Nago was supposed to go instead of Ace, it halts Beruba's first plan of getting an easy no-round brown. But let us never forget, she's an awful so she can freestyle her cruelness, and she activates her trap card, bitch assness, in the middle of the second round.
Flashback.
So remember when I told you Neon's family was super strict because she was kidnapped when she was younger? Okay, let me tell you what really.
Yeah, this is about the this is gonna be the most fucked thing you've heard ever if you've not watched Geats. If you haven't watched Geats, I highly recommend you go and watch it. It's on Tokushoutsu. I know not the best place a lot of people search for writer, but it's for like starting writers to get into. I highly recommend watching Geats. I could not recommend it enough.
Happened. 11 years prior to the series, a young girl named Akari Kurama died in a kidnapping accident where her captors
Probably all of this happened around on or around her birthday.
didn't get their ransom. This naturally destroys her mother and father both emotionally and mentally.
By the way, everybody, that's Time and Fire from Time Sentai. No, I think it's Time Sentai Time Ranger. Mirai Sentai Time Ranger.
And when given a chance to have it all back in exchange for being a sponsor to the DGP, they're allowed to have their wish, to make their ideal daughter Neon. That all means that Neon never originally existed, like she wasn't born like a normal person. She is just a replacement child created by the power of the goddess, aka Ace's braceface mom. Beruba tells the whole JGP what I told you, and shit starts getting sad for Nago. Like, it's sad, it's a sad Toku show. Now with the knowledge that she was constructed by the wish spell in order to fuel her father's agenda, the instant hate wave that comes from most of the audience, and the person who promised to be there always isn't there, this puts Nago in a very fucked up mental state before the final round.
Yeah.
Because, it's hard to get your head in the game when you're A, having an identity crisis, and B, not Troy Bolton, so you ain't got no song to sing about. To make matters even worse, Nago is just abducted to the third round, just so Beruba can twist the knife in some more. We respect women here on this channel, but Beruba, that bitch has got to go. Anyway, we start the final round, and it begins with Nago instantly on the back burner, getting slapped up by the Yamato immediately. It doesn't help that this Yamato in particular is very tough, as we've seen this type, albeit slightly different, fight a stronger Geats and Buffa in a 2v1 we've already covered. And I say that to say that even though she does put that shit on, she's still having a hard time with the Yamato QTEs, and eventually gets knocked out of her rider form. As her streaming with Amy Winehouse looks imminent, Kyun shows up, does some tier 3 simping, and puts that shit on himself, giving her the boost buckle in order for her to get back on her feet. Also, this nigga is a big ass lion. I
It's the parallels there.
honestly don't have any jokes for that. I just think that shit's kind of raw. It's beautiful, it's touching, and now we finally get to the real fight.
I don't know if this means something to you,
but this means something to me.
It means something to me.
Now boosted and locked in, Nago is covering ground like it's nobody's business. With Kyun giving that kind of support that makes me want to queue up with him in Marvel Rivals, Nago is able to get her get back and then some against this Yamato. Entering the final phase of this fight, Nago rides Kyun and turns his gun into a gun lance and charges forward. Hey, that's 2 Monster Hunter references already. The Yamato retaliates by making a Waymon, but through the power of love, friendship, and self-confidence, Nago makes a way.
B boost grand victory.
This storyline is so cool and so fucked up for so many reasons, so let's just talk about the obvious ones. Number 1, the fact that Timefire used his first daughter's death.
Yeah. And I didn't, when I watched it the first time, I didn't realize who that was. And I was like, wait, this nigga is Timefire?
To close his heart, fuel his work agenda, and wish for an ideal daughter to serve his political schemes is both the most fucked up / Gundam plotline shit I've ever heard. Number 2, he then named his said wish daughter after the first one, because the name Akari can be translated into many.
Akari. Yeah, Vermilion Sun. Etymology and or ways to write. The name is ultimately derived from the continuative form of the verb akaru, meaning to become bright / clear, and turn giving way to the word generally meaning light or lamp. Written as, or nowadays as a feminine name, it is mainly written phonetically. Other single kanji which are cognate or otherwise bearing resemblance to the word include this for vermilion, this word for sun, this word for star, this word meaning light, ray, beam, glow. Jesus Christ, there's many ways you can interpret that. Meaning color, meaning brightness, brilliance, moon, and this one meaning moon.
Ways based on how it's used in Japanese, but for our sake, we need to know that it translates to the word light. Meanwhile, Neon's name is based on neon lights. You know, the manufactured lights that people use mostly during business. And number 3, he made her birthday April Fool's Day?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
It's a fucking triple sack of sad shit, and it's a fantastic way to shake up Nago's character. This is way more complicated than the simple "you're adopted" story trope, and once the cat's out.
Yeah, it's like the most elaborate "you're adopted." It's like you're adopted, but you're not, because I made you through a wish. Ergo, you're adopted, but you're not.
Out of the bag, pun intended, it's a personal burden Neon has to struggle with until she works through it. Neon leaves this fight forever changed. She no longer feels like she deserves the love and adoration of her fans, so when the next DGP starts, her wish isn't true love, but for people to forget she even existed. And I can't blame her. In fact, after that fight, she's just out of the story for a few episodes. Not gone from it completely, but just for the rest of the JGP. This means she misses the part where Michi becomes a Rider Destroyer, but Bedaba's bitch ass forces our girl back into the game. So when she starts Desire Royale with Keiwa's sister, she's in a place where I like to call the tertiary debacle. In Nago's case, that just means at a certain point in this series, she moves the plot more out of suit than in suit, doing less and less from a fighting standpoint. So until the plot needs her for real, she's just bonding and jobbing with Keiwa's sister until both of them get eliminated at the same time by Buffer. When she pops up again, Geets is Rider Jesus, and Keiwa is in his Darth Tycoon phase. So this means it's her turn to get something, and our final exhibit. Fun fact, this exhibit happens alongside the final exhibit of the Tycoon video, as both of these events coincide with one another. At this point, Timefire is in jail for big CEO-styled crimes, and since the DGP is under new management, his hands are pretty much out of the future cookie jar. Meanwhile, Keiwa finally makes his wish to revive all the folks clapped in the entirety of the DGP franchise, like all of them,
Which is an interesting thing because, like, sometimes I don't get his art most of the time, because at this point in time in this one, it's one of those like cases of be careful what you wish for type situations. Because yeah, ultimately it is a altruistic means of wanting to bring back the people that ultimately died, but at the same time, he doesn't know if the people that died during the GGP were good people.
regardless of their moral standings and all that other stuff. So Kate would just so happen to revive some of the most vile niggas of the DGP, as one of them freed Kurama from jail while causing the destruction in the city. My bad, y'all probably like, who is Kurama? I meant Time Fire, my bad. Neon manages to save him and drops a lot of profound shit on him and leaves him questioning what he's really doing with his life. You normally figure this shit out in your lowest moments, I guess. We then discover because of Beruba, the guy who kidnapped and killed Akari is now free and goes and kidnaps Neon to be a repeat offender. The letter goes to her parents and it's deja vu all over again. The difference now is that Timefire actively prays to God in order to give him the strength to save his daughter. Geets gives him a driver and he ends up rescuing her while getting fucked up in the progress. More family bonding happens and Timefire gives Nago his ID core just in time for her to intercept Beruba, who's there to kill Timefire and the rest of her family. Though normally a person can't use the ID core of someone else, Nago quite literally has the power of God in her corner, and by simply believing in him, he allows her to make the impossible possible. Then, she puts that shit on. As Beruba is flabbergasted by this transformation, Nago starts planning her much needed get back, and the fight starts with the two.
Yeah, I was like, this get back. This was the get back of the century, bro.
Swapping hands.
I'm like, I'm tired of this bitch. Somebody put her down.
Beruba manages to blast Nago with her future blick, but learns the hard way that Nago's got substitution jutsus. Nago continues to flex by showing her new Shadow Cat powers and kicking the shit out of Beruba, who tries to chase her down. Then, my favorite part of this fight happens.
It's not looking good, Bev.
Yeah, she getting styled on.
It's not looking good.
Watching Beruba get her ass whooped in this show is one of the most satisfying things.
Yeah.
Nago has been making sure to put belt to ass and styling.
Bro, and styling on you, bro. I was almost going to say belt to ass the first time, but no, this man said belt to
On
ass.
her
Yeah,
for the
no.
entire fight.
Perfect. This is a perfect
fact,
example of putting belt to ass.
It feels like she's been in training mode, labbing her ass off for this exact moment. I don't know how, it just feels like it. And when she hits her buckle again, I knew she was ready to wrap this shit up. I thought she only had 5 bars of meter, but no, she was at max. Cause she lands a metered trap claw combo, and then that turns into a metered heel drop, and finally she dumps 5 meters of pack watch in that ass.
Strike.
Perfect.
I like this form and this moment a whole lot. Fantasy is a really, really, really cool and powerful form, and it's the form that represents Nago's belief in herself, Ace, and her duty as a Kamen Rider. And this isn't something she just thought about for a moment. No. She's been thinking about this Kamen Rider duty thing for a while. The mirage effects, the magical weapon projections, and the phasing is a combo for devious mix-ups, and it not only makes the fantasy final form not only look powerful, but match that feeling in design and aura. But I gotta talk about it. I can't not talk about it. Why in the fuck does Fantasy not have any goddamn pants? The only logical reasons I can think of is for her mobility and suit budgets. Since she has the fight scene that does the most jumping, ducking, dipping, and dodging.
Yeah, you would think just like the Bujin sword, hers would be like, because, well, to be fair, hers was the whole half buckle. I'm not unlike Mark. Well, I wouldn't say Mark II. I would say Geets' freaking Geets' Mark 9 buckle, or Tycoon's Bujin sword buckle. But even so, hers is still like one of the most broken ones outside of Mark 9. And it's like, bruh. Yeah, I really wish she had a like full two side buckle where she can just slap together like they do. But nope.
It makes sense for the suit to be made with less material on the legs so she can move around more. Though Ace and Tycoon also get new forms and pants, they also gain a new weapon, allowing them to do less acrobatics than Nago. Also, this form debuted July 16, 2023, meaning that this aired a week before the Four Aces movie of July 28, 2023. And Gacharn's also in that movie, so we know where the rest of the suit design and budget
Just posting up right now.
got primarily focused to. Having fantasy just having beat on the legs would make sense, yes, but I do feel that like that would have been too much for her to do all her jumping and flipping and jumping and stuff. I said jumping like 9 times. Let me just keep moving. Again, this is just me speculating based on things I've seen. Don't take it as gospel. It's more of a headcanon thought. From a story standpoint, by truly accepting that she is who she is, Neon is able to properly stand on business for God's plan and put the pots and pans to Beruba, a continued source of not only her misery, but the misery of others. Don't forget, she's partially responsible for Sara's death, a character who played a very important role in Neon's life as well. By defying Beruba in this way, Neon shows that despair can not only be overcome, but it can also be a two-way street as well. And even though Beruba's embarrassment wasn't broadcast live like Neon's was, she, her, Michi, and God knows what happened to her. And they all just so happen to be part of the Writers Who Beat Up Beruba Club. This form, is the penultimate change for her. Her wanting to protect happiness to make up for the happiness lost is one of the most selfless things to come out of her mouth, and comes from a really mature place as she takes her father's place in Ace's DGP, ironically making his dream come true, as his daughter is now officially knee-deep in the company and is smart enough to know her role and what she must do to fulfill it. She literally barks at him about what he should be doing as a sponsor after Keiwa's wish caused the city to implode on itself. But by far, the biggest hurdle in all of this is Neon forgiving her parents for the role they played. And let me be clear and fair. As an IRL father, I can't co-sign any of their parenting skills at all. But if they were actually good parents, we wouldn't have this plot. So I had to Arthur Fist my way through this section of the story.
Yeah, that's always the case study of like people that go through struggles and they look back on their lives and they look at how they turned out now. It's like, would you change? Would you change anything if your life turned out for the better? Like, would you go back and change things?
After losing their child because of something out of their control, the Karamas, mostly Time Fire, abused the power they had to not revive their daughter, but to create an all-new, all-different daughter for the purpose of pushing their agenda. This in turn causes them to take controlling her to the next level, effectively keeping her in a golden cage and the metaphorical darkness about her true origin to do so. This resulted in Neon's desire for freedom and doing something beyond what her parents wanted for her, originating from her not feeling like she had an identity of her own. That pursuit of freedom birthed both her streaming and writer careers, and the trials and tribulations one undergoes to discover who they really are. Because of all the ups and downs Neon has experienced with the help of her friends, she completes that journey, resulting in her accepting who she always was, herself, and a real fucking Kamen writer to boot. This action displays to the Karamas that Neon has the strength to forgive them of their wicked actions. That forgiveness inspires change, blah blah blah. She gives Beruba them Danny Phantom pots and pans. Like, genuinely fucks her face up. It's fantastic. Neon is currently my favorite female writer right now. I personally think her story is really fun and it's impactful, and maybe it's because it feels like a Sailor Moon plotline or like a Type Moon Fate Stay plotline. Probably one of them. Also, never forget, it just goes to show, even rich people go through bullshit. But yeah, man, that's the video. This video should have been out 2 weeks ago, but I got a new computer the day before the new year, and I'm gonna be honest, I was playing some games, bro. I was playing the shit out of some games instead of working, and that's my bad. So I'm just gonna work on a crash out video. Use the links below to donate to the channel. Help your boy out. Give me $5. I'll pay you back. If you're thinking about buying anything on Hobby Links Japan, make sure you do it with my affiliate link in the description below. So that way, when you make a purchase, you can actually support the channel by doing so. With that being said, thank you for the love and support. I got videos to work on. Run the numbers up. Give me $5.
A few moments later.
That is going to be the end of the video. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.